have you all with us, and wonderful to have guests with us as well. This evening, our theme is dynamic leadership, and we thought no better person can speak and be a dynamic or represent dynamic leadership than our Verity. So Verity, our president, will be our Toastmaster tonight as well. In order to have a smooth running of the evening, I would like you to mute all yourselves later. And then I would like as well that you leave your camera on whenever it's possible. We are recording the evening, and we would like then later to put that onto media. And in order for showing our happy faces, it's important that you leave the camera on. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, then please switch it off. So you will be motivated, muted. And then I would ask you as well, please, to use the chat box if you have positive commentaries, which surely we have. I would like you to show your hands like that if you want to clap, if you applause. Sometimes we are even switching off or the mute and clap loud when there are special things happening. And then we have a little break of 5 minutes. The usual story applies. Find your bathroom where you left it last. And least not last, last not least, Verity, have I forgotten anything? No? Are we on? Good. And then I would like to hand over to our really phenomenal Verity. You all have heard that she won the South African Toastmasters International Speech Championship. Oh, now you can unmute yourself. Exactly. And we have a big round of applause. Woo, 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 for Verity. And she is young, forever young, but nevertheless on Sunday, she had her birthday yesterday. So afterwards as well, happy birthday, Verity. And yeah, may I hand over to you and guide us into the evening. The program of the evening will be on the chat box, put in kindly by Nick. Thank you. And 1 second, I forgot something. Yes, it is important. The last time we had winners for our competitions. The table topics competition was won by Nick. And then we had a tie for best speeches, which was Leo and John. They really, last week, the speeches were heartwarming and just wonderful. And then we had another one. Let me, sorry, I have to look. Best evaluator was Flo. She unfortunately is not with us tonight. Okay, I think now I have it done, and hand over to Verity.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Gabrielle. And hello and welcome, everyone. It's so lovely to be here. I've had a very busy week, as Gabrielle said. I was incredible last week to win the Southern African champs. So thank you to my Toasted family for supporting me for the last 2.5 months. I know you've all been incredible kind of backbone for me in that journey. And then for all the wishes on my birthday. So thank you. And it does look like a very girl-heavy evening, which is fantastic. I'm sure that the men are happy to be here because, as Gabrielle says, this is a very good-looking Zoom panel. I must say, I'm enjoying the view. I hope Michelle is taking shots for people to just see what they're missing out on and made. So welcome. I'm just with me. I see Michelle's got it. Okay. So I know we've got some wonderful guests with us, a lot of who I have invited. So I apologize that I'm now going to ask you what brought you here, and you can just say it's me, but maybe share why you said yes. But always lovely to have our guests with us. And I'm going to start with Michelle. You visiting us again for the second time, I think. Am I right?
No, you're right. I have been here once before. I was observing and now I've actually joined. Well, starting in June. So just watching again today and joining for table topics.
Welcome. We're so excited, Michelle. How lovely to have you join the family. That's fantastic. Emily, also, I don't know if this is your first or second time with us.
Yes, this is my first time with you guys. Yes, so I think I'm also hoping to start at the beginning of June. Yeah.
Yay. Are you also with Two Fellas Media?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Ah, okay. We love the Two Fellas Media family that keeps growing with us. So welcome and enjoy your first meeting. And then Justine, what brought you to this meeting?
Hi, Verity. Gosh, we were having a conversation one day in your garden, and it was just about, I have a fear of public speaking. So Verity was like, come along, everyone's great, you can kind of face your fears and just listen to a conversation. So I'm here. So thanks for having me.
Yay, welcome. It's very hard to avoid me when I'm next door. So I don't know if you had much choice, but I'm so glad you're here. And then another dear friend of mine I see has also popped in. Jessica, do you want to share with everyone why you have come?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll say the same thing is I obviously had a coffee with you a couple of months ago, and the inspiration on talking about the Toastmasters and how it had profoundly sort of had an amazing experience for you. And yeah, it just shed so much light, and just seeing how incredibly well you've been doing with it. And I just thought, this is something that I've always wanted to do, but never have. So thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to this journey.
Yay, so glad you're here. Yeah, divine. Shireen, I know your guest is hiding. Do you want to introduce yourself and let us know how you got dragged into Shireen's lounge?
Hi everyone, my name's Janelle, and I've always just heard about it from Shireen. She's always raved about Toastmasters and how much she has enjoyed it, and she invited me along, and I thought I would just come and see for myself what it's all about.
Oh, welcome, Jamal. So lovely to have you here. And welcome to everyone, to John joining us from the US again. Paul from, are you in Belgium at the moment, Paul? I never know where you are. Let us know.
Well, today in Belgium and tomorrow in Austria.
Oh, my word. Okay, so we are an international club. Some of us from Hout Bay, from Joburg, for Nick, we are all over the country and the world. As is customary in Toastmasters clubs around the world, we always make a toast to the country we're in, which is we are based in South Africa. So if you have a glass, please hold it up. If you don't, you're welcome to mime and to Southern Africa and all her speakers.
To Southern Africa and all the speakers.
Cheers. Right. So let's get right into the evening, which is all about dynamic leadership, and such a fabulous theme. This is actually one of the educational pathways that you can do when you sign up to do the Toastmasters journey. If it's something you're wanting to work on, it's one of the educational pathways that's available. And we love this theme as a committee because trying to run a Toastmasters club requires dynamic leadership. And what I love about the word dynamic, I was looking into it this afternoon, and it's got more than 50 synonyms. There are so many words that describe dynamic. So I'm hoping I'm going to get through some of them tonight, but it's a force that makes things happen. So you can have a dynamic force that creates change, but it's also the ability to adapt to change and to move and shift. And when describing a person, it's someone whose energy is positive and infectious and makes things happen. So I can definitely say in the 10 years that I have been a member of Toastmasters, this organization is the breeding ground for dynamic leadership. A year ago, around this time of exactly a year ago, I would say it was this meeting in May a year ago, Toasted had 7 members. And we were facing the decision of, do we close the club and go, we had a good innings, COVID has killed us, or do we try and turn it around? And with 7 people on a Zoom call, we put out the call to action, who here wants to step up and try lead this club to a new beginning? And luckily for me, Nick, Gabrielle, Floor, who's not here, and Michelle Beale said, yes, let's try. And we sat down as a club in June last year and set a vision that we could turn this club around. We could make it one of the most dynamic clubs in Southern Africa. And we had 7 members and an international pandemic. And we thought, what the hell are we going to go for it? A year later, we have over 20 members. We have won the Gold League of the Club Fitness Rewards Program. We started in the open pool. I don't know how we keep winning this thing, but we're doing really well, people. All our new members, all the times that people finish an educational pathway, we've been getting points. They've even given us 2,000 Rand to say thank you for everything. It's amazing. But this has only happened because Toastmasters gave the committee an opportunity to practice dynamic leadership. We've had to roll with the punches, figure out how to use Zoom, figure out how to do amazing PR, which Michelle has just been nailing, that draws people from all over the world. I mean, John joined us. We've never had an international member who hasn't even, visited us in person. So it's so exciting for me, and that's why I'm so passionate about this organization, is it gives you the chance to practice leadership skills that you can then go and apply into the world. And I just feel deeply privileged to be surrounded by such an incredible group of people that are dynamic. So we are going to unpack what this means as the evening goes through. I've got some fantastic people helping me. And the first one, and I'm going to take us through some synonyms now. Our first helper and dynamic leader of the evening is Claire Alexander, who is a wee lassie all the way from Scotland. And if I had to describe her with some dynamic synonyms, I would say spirited, zestful, and ballsy. Because if you heard Claire's icebreaker, you know this woman is dynamic. So Claire, I'm going to stop my bad Scottish accent and I'm going to let you take over, and please tell us about your role as the counter tonight.
Hi everyone, I'm using my phone and I've got the generator going in the background because we're on load shedding right now. I was like, Bernard, get the generator on now. Verity, do you want me to read out this paragraph? Is that correct? On the page. Okay. Greetings, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So tonight I'm going to be your counter, and the purpose of the counter is to note the words and sounds that are used as a crutch or a pause filler by anyone who speaks. During this meeting, I will listen for the overused words, including and, well, but, so, and, you know. I will also listen to filler sounds such as and and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase such as I, or this. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker uses these expressions. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Claire. Fantastic. And this is such a good listening opportunity. You're going to be busy. We'll see you taking notes. Fabulous. Our next dynamic leader of the evening is Michaela Geldof. She is going to be our timekeeper. And I can honestly say, having listened to her or watched her podcast, her amazing show that she's doing on YouTube, and watching her grow as a speaker, the words I've pulled out for her are sparky, energetic, and passionate. So Michaela, please tell us all about your role.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Firstly, thank you everyone for helping me in my little panic session when I needed to bring up all those cards. I'm glad that I can do it old school. So here we go. Greetings, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters and guests. As timer, I will be the table topic speakers. I will time the table topic speakers, formal speeches, and evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, like I said, old school, which denotes specific times remaining. Firstly, with the table topic speakers, well, that will actually be last, so I'm not going to read that first. Maybe this should be changed. But the first one, most evaluation of speeches, would be 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. 6, I will raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. Then we'll get into evaluations where there should be 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Then finally, the icebreakers, which I'm hoping the Two Fellas team dabbles in. This will be 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, I'll raise the green card. 5 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And 6 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Michaela. And I love, we have to be dynamic. The system's not working. We go old school. That's how we roll. I love it. All right. So we have two speakers tonight, both speaking from the level 3 of their pathways, which is very exciting, which means they are moving ahead with force in their speaking and leadership journey. And I'm really excited to hear their speeches tonight. To give them feedback and to help them grow and learn and become more, they will have evaluations from fellow members. So our first evaluator tonight, who will be giving feedback to Paul Gurumans on his level 3 project 1 of his innovative planning pathways, is Vanya. And any of us that have heard Vanya speak and have seen her incredible talent for design would know that when it comes to dynamic leadership, she is effective, passionate, and positive. So Vanya, please, can you tell us what you will be looking out for in your evaluation of Paul's speech tonight?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'm sorry I can't find the introduction for the evaluation, but I will make my own. I will look out for gestures, voice, delivery, structure, language, and message. And that's what I'm going to do tonight.
Beautiful, thank you. Nick might quickly send you some extra stuff. I don't know if he's got all sorts of clever things he can send you to help you, but it's going to be beautiful. So our first speaker of the evening, and I'm just checking, I've got so many screens going here, but really when I do think of dynamic leaders, Paul, you are one of them. Your passion for what you do, your go-getting, your forceful nature to somehow dynamically work between Africa, India, Europe, it's absolutely extraordinary. So I know that we are in for a treat as we listen to Paul's speech. I chased Murphy away. I chased Murphy away, Paul Gurumans. Please give him your warmest welcome. Paul, we just need to unmute you. Sorry, and we'll start again. Please welcome Paul. No, not yet.
Okay. Okay. Well, this was a false start, but it's nevertheless will make a great speech, hopefully, of it. So thank Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. The story that I'm going to relate to you started about 2 years ago. As a company, we're selling steam to big industrial companies, and we are reducing the cost of the steam. The energy that we are using is wood waste in comparison of usually HFO or coal or gas that companies are using. So at the one hand, we do the full outsourcing of the steam. We're doing the CapEx, we're doing the OpEx, and at the other hand, we try to reduce the cost of steam. Now, in 2018, we approached a big pharmaceutical company in Port Elizabeth. We knew that they were expanding with a new boiler house. They were looking for additional steam requirement because they have built a brand new building with new machineries. This was for us a massive opportunity, and it would be our biggest CapEx so far, in excess of 140 million rand as an investment. So we spent 3 months with my engineer to prepare the whole proposal. And we had to change our design several times because those engineers, I mean, believe it or not, they always changed their ideas and we had to implement new ideas. But then suddenly the whole scope of work changed as our client wanted to purchase the equipment instead of us purchasing the equipment, and they just want us to build and to operate. So once again, we had to change our approach. I spent again a couple of 100,000 rand with our tenants to change the contract. Our proposal was submitted to the board. And in competition of our proposal was another company who was proposing steam with a coal boiler, with a very cheap second-hand coal boiler. Unfortunately, our proposal was not accepted because the capex of the coal boiler was about half of our capex. The board wanted to be more green, but didn't want to spend the money to be more green. Now, it's not fair to compare a brand new machine coming from Europe to a second-hand coal boiler from South Africa. But fair in business does not exist. It's only the bottom line that counts. Now, the awarded, or they offered me to tender again with a second-hand boiler. So we were very excited. I found 2 boilers, one in Czechia, one in Switzerland, who could perfectly fit for the requirements. Now, imagine an industrial boiler. It's not a Mickey Mouse. It's not like a boiler in a geyser in a house. I mean, it's a 4-bedroom house, 3 stories high. You need about 8 to 10 trucks to move it. You need about a couple of flatbeds. It takes you about 3-4 months to dismantle it, and at least 6 months to reassemble the whole thing. So in March 2019, the client informed me that he was very happy with the proposal, and the legal agreements went forward and backward. And I sent a team out to Czech Republic and to Switzerland to start dismantling the whole thing. We were going to realize our big dream, our biggest project so far. But suddenly, Murphy took control of the project. In May, the share price of that pharmaceutical company plumped from 30,000 Rand to 7,420 Rand in 2 months' time, less a quarter of the share price. Now, it means that the company was not liquid anymore because the long-term and the short-term debts were in excess of the market capitalization. I remember I was in Belgium in the garden when I spoke to the engineer, Christian, and asked him about my first invoice, my 10 million Rand deposit invoice and my contract. And he said, Paul, my hands are tied. I'm completely demoted. I left. I got 2 levels lower. I can't even sign the check of 10,000 Rand. What happens is that the guys of McKinsey took over the whole company as a consultant, and he was not allowed to sign any check, neither any contract. So there I was. I went back to my office. My head was dazzling. I went to my boardroom, and who do I saw in the boardroom at the table? It was Murphy. Murphy was sitting in front of me, and he had a big smile. And Murphy said to me, listen, Paul, maybe you should take one of your books out of your library about motivation and start reading a book. And then I heard in my voice, you know, the big voice of Winston Churchill said, listen, Paul, never, 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 ever give up. And I became so angry against Murphy, and I kicked him out of my office. And I put at the back of my car the band, never, never, ever give up. And I regained that whole force that I had before. So things went up and down for 2 years because it took time for the whole operation to be back on track. In fact, the whole thing was also, for us, it was like a tsunami because we lost several millions of rands into the whole operation. But then the COVID came in last year. And sometimes the COVID is a blessing, and certainly for the pharmaceutical companies. They were awarded with a contract to produce a COVID vaccine in October last year. Engineers flew from America to visit the company, and they were very, very impressed with the solar panels on the roof. Suddenly, that pharmaceutical company understood that, yes, green energy can be a promotion. Green energy, it can not only be a saving, but it can also be a promotion. On top of that, I heard that they have an issue with the medical waste. Now, I will tell you a little secret about business. Are you ready for that? I see Verity smiling. Business is very easy. Find a company with a problem, find a suitable solution, and that's business. So I came up with a solution from France to put a sterilizer where we could use the medical waste, sterilization of the medical waste, and use it and turn it as a fuel, a RDF fuel. And we could combine it with a biomass. So now I came up with a solution where, first of all, I'm helping them with the waste because they were transporting the waste up to Johannesburg. And for Port Elizabeth to Johannesburg is about 1,200 kilometers. They had the scare or the fear that something happens with the truck. They had no control on the waste. So now the waste will be sterilized in Port Elizabeth. We will use the waste as a fuel. Then secondly is also that we will save them about 12 million Rand a year just on the steam usage. And thirdly is that they will be more green. They will save 8,400 tons of carbon emissions a year. So it's a triple bottom line. So as a conclusion, I can tell you that, yes, I'm boosted because I had a virtual COVID vaccine with my wife being vaccinated already 4 months ago, and I was sleeping next to her. So in my mind, I was already a little bit vaccinated, but today I got my real shot. at 11:30 in Belgium. So I'm boosted because I got a vaccine, and I'm not losing the fear of traveling because I was a little bit of fear of traveling. But on top of that, I chased Murphy away, and on my car, I got the branding, never, never give up. Thank you very much, Madame Toastmaster.
Wow, Paul, thank you. And I think there's a few of us have had the privilege of seeing Paul's car. You have never seen a car like this. The entire car is covered in inspirational quotes. And correct me, I'm terrible at knowing what car it was. It's a fancy car. It's like a Porsche or Ferrari or something amazing. Paul, please remind me.
Well, it was a Porsche, but it doesn't matter.
Well, it was quite a Porsche to be covered. It was like a walking Tony Robbins, like absolutely explosion of positivity and inspiration. So if you've ever driven behind that car near Somerset West, you will know. Paul, thank you so much. What a beautiful example of dynamic leadership right there, the way you had to adjust and adapt with your proposal and finding a way to work around it. I was actually looking up what are the key elements that, if you were describing a dynamic leader, what would you say? And you've just in your story, I think, exemplified all of them. So the first is to have vision. You know, you have to know where you're going. Then there needs to be that passion that's driving it. Then we need empathy. We need to be able to identify with other people's emotions, adapt to fix with what, you know, to move with what they need. Then people also need us to be decisive. You know, they need that decisiveness, and they need to see that we're moving forward. And the thing that for me is really important is that there's some level of service, that we are, exactly as you said, fix that need, see how you can be of service to someone. So absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Paul. And next up, we have two more fantastic leaders in our club. We have Nicholas, who is going to be evaluating Gabriella's presentation mastery speech, her level 3, project 3, which is focus on the positive. Nicholas is active in Toastmasters. That would be one of the dynamic words I would use for him. He is absolutely potent. Everything Nicholas does turns to gold. So Nick, can I please hand over to you to please tell us more about Gabrielle's presentation tonight?
Thank you, Verity. And good evening, Toasted members and guests. Gabriella's doing her third project, as Verity's mentioned, and it is to focus on the positive. The purpose of her speech is to practice being aware of her thoughts and her feelings. Interesting one, eh? And as well as the impact of her responses on others. So it'll be interesting to hear how she goes and delivers this. The title of her speech is The Hard Drive. So please take it away.
Thank you so much, Nick. Wow. So looking forward to our flamboyant, our passionate, and our go-getter Gabrielle to take us through the hard drive. Please welcome Gabrielle Lichthart-Groote with the hard drive. The hard drive, Gabrielle Lichthart-Groote. Ah, it's on mute, my beautiful Gabrielle. It gets us every time, the Zoom mute. No, still on mute. There we go. Let's welcome Gabrielle.
Thank you. Give me a child until it's 7 years old, and I will show you the man. That is what Aristotle, a Greek philosopher, said. Very impactful. Yes, we do know that when children grow up, those first years are important. But why are they important? A little bit of a background. When you're born until you're 2 years old, you have a delta brainwave that makes you feel one with everything. You are, so to say, still in heaven. And then when the terrible 2 starts, your ego awaits. And you are in a theta brainwave, which lies between 4 and 7.9 hertz. It's a theta brainwave. That means in that time, you are as open as the sea, to receive whatever comes. All our belief systems, our opinions, our fault cracks are laid down there. And if you have parents who are negative, surely this will imprint quite deeply on your system. And after 7 years, life builds on, your mind builds on that platform. And if you have German parents and they think to be critical is positive because then you will strive for more, be better, you have not an easy way to go. It's a whole nation who doesn't have an easy way to go. But there are ways to overcome that. And there are ways, for example, through therapy, where you can do a theta healing therapy, where you can release negative mind patterns. I tried that. I learned theta therapy. I became a theta therapist because I thought I must get rid of my negative mind patterns. But it wasn't enough. And I chose this subject, not easy, because I thought, let me look again what means positive thinking. So in this job, which we got in level 3, we can make a journal and present it in a 2-minute talk, or we can give a speech. I put the two together. 7 and 2, yeah, makes 9. So maybe I am in time, but maybe I'm positively over it. The journal. Yeah, I have to come back to something very important. Because in those years, between 2 and 7 years, that is our hard drive. This is when all the belief systems, as I mentioned, opinions are put down forever, and they will feed your computer. And if you don't watch carefully, you might be lost, especially with German parents. I had to add that. So the hard drive, and it might be in life a hard drive as well. The task number 1, to write a journal. I decided not only to write a journal and mark positive and negative thoughts over days, hours. I thought I'd go a step further to show you what my negative and my positive in life is. So allow me to take you with the camera a little bit closer to this artwork, and we come back to it later. I hope you can one see that?
Yes.
Yep.
The time is running. That's what I said. It might be a little bit more. Okay, so I became aware of my thoughts and feelings and the impact and the responses on others. I recognized a pattern which was very close to my heart. And I will only mention one because a lot came out. It felt sticky and uncomfortable and resulted in guilt. Not very positive. What happened? Our son Felix left on Thursday a week ago. He went away for the weekend, and I thought, what a son is that? Mother's Day is coming, and this guy just leaves. That's an easy job, so he doesn't have to do anything for me. How negative is that? I told my husband, who cringed because he knows that kind of reaction. Not so nice. The next day, I wanted to air a little bit the room of Felix. I opened the door And what stood there? A little stool with a beautiful orchid and a beautiful card. I was so taken, I was so shocked, because immediately my negative pattern stood right there. I didn't touch it. For 2 days, I was sitting and thinking, what are you doing each time? When somebody lets you down, you think somebody lets you down, look at your reaction. It's negative. Why not just wait? Why not just wait what this child has to offer in the next days? Maybe he thinks of Mother's Day. No, you immediately think he doesn't want to be with you. So on Mother's Day then, I opened the card, which is down here, and my heart was bleeding with joy. And on the other hand, I felt so embarrassed about my own kind of reaction when he left the house, and I thought he had abandoned me. And I won't read the card to you, but I couldn't have wished for a nicer card than this child had written to me, in no ways abandoning me or stepping out of line. He did, in my heart, the most beautiful thing. So I realized that, and I will never forget that, because this kind of a pattern, to feel abandoned or to think somebody wants me not well, doesn't wish me well, that comes from a time long ago when I was brought up with thoughts like that. So then the next part of the job was practice thought replacement, positive thought replacement. And I thought, where does thinking happen so that I can replace it with a positive thought? It happens in our mind. That's where the hard drive is. That's where all our thoughts, positive, negative, are. That's where our stories are. That's where our memories are, our history on that hard drive. And I must actually read to you something about changing that mind. Until the mind knows its own essential nature, it cannot be sure that anything it knows or experiences is absolutely true and not simply a reflection of its own limitations. But until the mind knows its own essential nature, it cannot be sure that anything it knows or experiences is absolutely true and not simply a reflection of its own limitations. Me, mine, I, what is that mind? So one has to ask oneself, who am I? If that mind is me. And when you ask yourself that, I did, who am I? What comes out? Nothing. The mind hasn't got an answer. It has thoughts, but it hasn't got the experience, who am I? So that cannot be the way. The mind reflects on itself and finds nothing because itself is a thought. It can be a positive and a negative thought. So why must I believe my negative thinking that that is my reality? Let's try from another side. Let's try I am. And feel in that awareness. Ask yourself, am I aware? And fall back into that experience. Yes, I am. I am is the only thing I know. And this I am is open, is peaceful. It hasn't got all these negative little things hanging around. It just is. It's a beingness. So I decided in my life that the place from which I want to work is from that awareness, where all the stuff which is happening in the mind, the positive, the negative, all of that, the content of experience is not. The content of experience is in the mind, but the mind is not aware of itself. Awareness, I amness, is aware of itself. And when I take the mind away, there's only this empty field. It's spaceless, it's endless, it's timeless. And the experience on my inside is peace and happiness. And my experience on the outside is beauty and love. So what have I learned through this task, level 3? I want to be more mindful. I will want to avoid judgment. I don't want to be so critical. I just have to step back into nothing, just being. I don't even have to try to think positive. It just is. It is beauty. It is happiness. And I would like to end with Rumi, who said, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about, because the world is all that in the mind. And here, nothing, just peace. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toasties, thank you.
Wow, thank you, Gabrielle. I must say, just seeing the depth of that project makes me realize how these pathways can take us on such strong personal journeys. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I have to say, as you were speaking, one of the qualities that they didn't put that a dynamic leader needs is authenticity and vulnerability. And I think it's so important. And that's what I love about these meetings, is that we show up and we share ourselves, we share our passions, we share our fears, and what makes this such a special club. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that journey with us and your beautiful artwork. I really am looking forward to your evaluation later. We are running a little over time. So what I would like to know is, should we just keep going and finish by 8, or does anyone desperately need a comfort break? I'm handing the power to the Zoom screen. Are we all happy to just keep going? Should we just keep going? Beautiful.
Yes.
So, yes? I'm just going to say yes. Okay, Michaela, could you please give us your timekeeper's report, please?
Firstly, I'm absolutely blown away. Both speeches, truly amazing. So for Paul, you had 7 minutes and 25 seconds, and Gabriella, you had 13 minutes and 6 seconds. Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you. Our Gabrielle really ran with that speech. She warned us it would be long, but she outdid herself. She did double the time. You made up for the third speech we didn't have tonight, Gabrielle. Well done. Okay, beautiful. So we get to the part of our program that is so important in Toastmasters, which is where we get to learn and grow and change and shift ourselves as a result of the feedback we get. And part of the things that really excites me in Toastmasters is that this journey helps us develop a growth mindset. It gets us comfortable listening to feedback and incorporating it and applying it the next time we present. And one of the things that always inspires me, I've seen very few people receive feedback and not change, which means this is a growth mindset organization. We don't come with a fixed headspace of like, this is how I am. We all listen and learn. And even for the evaluators, this is a learning experience for all of us. So I'm really looking forward to hearing the feedback that we have for our speakers tonight. And Vanya, if I can call on you to please give Paul your feedback on his proposal. Please welcome Vanya.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Thank you, Paul. I can't see Paul now.
He's hiding, but he is there.
Thank you, Paul, for your speech. I really loved that you spoke to us about your profession and about your work, and to get you a bit more on that level. And it was actually very interesting. I must say the beginning was a bit, you started a bit rushed. Like I felt like you were a bit nervous, but in the middle of the speech it went a bit better. So you calmed a bit down, which was nice to hear, because then we could follow it a bit better. You had good hand gestures. I think with the when you said points, you really used that, and it was very helpful. One of the tips I think is to look a bit more straight into the camera, because now you look more, I think you have another camera on your left side. I'm not sure. Okay. I think then you will connect a bit better with us as the audience. And you have a little bit of a reflection in your glasses. It can be a bit distracting, but I don't know if you can do something about it. But I love how you try to end your speech with a positive outcome. I think it was really nice to hear. It was for me a bit difficult because you were jumping a little bit between I think the points, and I found it a bit difficult to follow. But maybe it's also because my English is not my first language, and it went a bit fast. So I think when you use more breaks in between the points, maybe it comes over a bit stronger. But I loved when you said if the audience would like to have a little secret. I think everyone loves secrets, so then you really got my attention, and I loved the points that you gave us, and that you also pointed out the COVID. So I think you really excelled at telling a good story with a positive outcome. I think the giving the hand gestures was a really strong point. You may want to work a little bit on your speaking slowly, and when you pronounce difficult words, maybe say it a bit slower. Your volume was good. I think everyone could hear you very well. Yeah, look more straight into the camera, and to challenge yourself is maybe use a bit more voice level. So when you speak about someone else, maybe use a bit of another voice. Yeah, so that's my evaluation. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Vanya. Wow, that's just beautiful. All our members stepping up and doing these roles so well. So our next evaluator to give Gabrielle feedback on her speech is Nicholas. Please welcome Nicholas.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, Gabriella. You really did blow us away. You said that the speech had the option of doing a 2 to 3 minute speech or a 5 to 7 minutes, and you gave us 13 minutes, not 10. Your introduction was beautiful. You lured us in with a quote from Aristotle, I believe, and then you built on that so nicely, where you told us you used a bit of alliteration by saying the terrible twos have the delta brainwaves, and this is when you're in that state of bliss or heaven. You can always see a 2-year-old, just everything in the present moment, which is beautiful. Then you explained how when you get to 7 years old, the theta brainwaves are active, and that's when the openness comes, and you use the prop of the hard drive, which was linked to your speech title. So very clever. In the purpose of the project, it said that the speaker or the member should not necessarily report on the content and focus on the positive. And you thought, you know what, I've done task 1, which is writing a journal over 4 days. I've done task 2 as an overachiever. I've done this beautiful artwork, and I'm going to give you the feedback of my negative emotions and what it did on me, and how my husband cringed, and then how it stopped me. And you gave us a solution, which was really lovely and enlightening. There was a lot of content, Gabrielle, and as you were trying to say it, you forgot, oh, I must bring the prop in, oh, I must bring the artwork down, oh, the camera must show the artwork. So I'm going to be quite hard on you because you're the most experienced pathway speaker we have at the moment, as you can see. Time is important. I would have let you off for 10 minutes, but not 13 minutes. You could have just stuck with the hard drive as your prop. The artwork, you didn't necessarily have to show us, but you could have expressed how the mind, what really worked nicely is when you tore it down. That was a great metaphor for showing how the mind is a mess, and when you tear it down, it becomes blank. And that made such a beautiful conclusion where you said, and your tone of your voice dropped nicely as well. You said, it's not the question of who am I, but it's just that I am. And I am is peace, happiness. You used a beautiful word. You said, my heart was bleeding joy. And then you went on to say, the answer is that, I'm just going to show you, is that I am. So there's these beautiful ways of getting the message across without overexerting the positive language. Again, exceptional work. I love the effort you put into. In summation, keep using the introductions with quotes, the Rumi quote, the poetic, romantic poet. There was another beautiful quote. Keep using those. Keep using your beautiful gestures. As you said the quote, you almost presented us to us. And just lower the content down so you can finish on time. Looking forward to the next one.
Beautiful, Nick. Thank you. You always give such rich and in-depth feedback, and I see Gabrielle nodding and taking it all in. And she knew that she was going over time, but she thought, sod it, I've painted this amazing picture, I've done this journal, I'm going to tell you. And that's what I love. We only get disqualified in contests, so it's perfect. So talking about time, Michaela, how did our evaluators do for time, please?
Well, Vanya, you did 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and Nicholas, you did 3 minutes and 37 seconds. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, wow, awesome, beautiful. Thanks, Michaela. So now we get to the really fun part of a Toastmasters meeting where we all get to practice being dynamic communicators, because life is always in flux and flow. And when it comes to communicating, you don't often get to practice what you're going to present. You are in the moment, someone throws something at you and you need to think on your feet. So Table Topics is all about having an opportunity to have fun, to practice thinking on our feet. So it is an invitation to all our guests to say yes. And I know I have some guests that have joined us while we've been at it. Lecholo, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. Lechlo? Michelle maybe can help me. I know we had Faith.
Hi, but it's Lechlo.
Lechlo. Welcome.
Yeah,
and we've lost Faith, I think, with
Faith
connection.
has left. Yeah, we have some interns working with us, and I've invited them to the meeting because I thought it would be great. They're both at Pearson's and they're doing some work with us at Service Gurus. Lechlo, where are you? He's incredible, but I think he's on mute.
Yeah, shame.
And I know it's load shedding in Joburg as well. So there's some issues with connectivity. But yeah, thanks, Verity.
Moment with South African issues. So
yeah, no worries.
All right. So we to our high-powered and spirited Table Topics master, Shireen. Please welcome Shireen to tell you all about Table Topics and to give everyone who hasn't spoken so far an opportunity to take to the screen and think on your feet.
Good evening, everybody, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and all our wonderful guests. So Table Topics helps our members practice the art of improvisation and also helps us to think on our feet. By thinking on our feet, this helps us to develop 4 vital communication skills within Toastmasters: our listening, our thinking, our organizing, and delivery of the topics. So the topic this evening is really, really close to my heart. Dynamic leadership is, very close to my heart, and it drives my purpose every single day. I'm really hoping that you will enjoy the topics that I have chosen. And it gives everybody an opportunity, not just our members, but it's also an opportunity for you as our guests to come on board and perhaps choose one of our topics. So what you'll have to do is you can volunteer. I have 10 topics this evening, so you can choose a number between 1 and 10, and I will read out the topic for you. I will also then post the topic into the chat box so that you can just see it again, and then we're good to go. So, any volunteers for this evening's table topics? Don't all shout at once. Yay, John! John, wonderful. Number 2. Right, are you ready?
I am.
Excellent. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. John F. Kennedy. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. John F. Kennedy.
The 2 things, leadership and learning, are indispensable. For example, if you are a law enforcement officer like I was, and all of a sudden they tell you you are going to be the leader of a crime scene processing team, and you've never done it before, and never been to a school about how to do it, you really have to learn how to do it before you lead your team. And it actually is a fun thing to be learning, because when you become curious about a topic, even if you weren't curious or interested before, you naturally become excited, and the people on your team become excited too. And that is what happened to me. We started with no background, and within a few years, learning does take some time. We were a good crime scene processing team, doing some work that we had not done before and making our community safer. So in summary, I think being a good leader involves learning, in part because it gets you excited about what you're doing, and perhaps you'll pass that on to the people that you're working with. Back to you, Shireen.
Absolutely brilliant. Well done, John, and that was really amazing. Thank you. Who'd like to volunteer next? I'm looking very closely at the screen.
Like running an auction, everyone starts avoiding eye contact.
I may just choose the letters of the alphabet.
Leo loves doing table topics.
Leo, want to give it a go? Any number? Number 3. Excellent. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be.
Thank you, Shireen. The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide or choose to become. And when I look at great leaders throughout the world, they are who they are through their own decisions, through the power of their choices, their mistakes, their experience, and everything they've chosen to do and bring with them. In deciding who I want to be a leader too. But what kind of leader? I've read a myriad of leadership books, from Winston Churchill to George Bezos, the late anti-apartheid activist attorney. I want to be a leader who's authentic. I want to be a leader who inspires everyone. And most of all, I want to be myself. Or who am I? What is myself? It's everything that I am. It's the courage that I bring to every decision. It's the purpose. It's the vulnerability. It's the authenticity. And with those decisions, I am alone am responsible for who I am as a leader. Thank you.
That is incredible. Thank you so much, Leo. Wow, thinking on your feet, that was brilliant. Anybody else like to volunteer before I start picking some people this evening? Going once, going twice, and it's called Michelle. Michelle, how do I pronounce your surname? De Klerk?
It's pronounced De Klerk.
De Klerk.
Yeah.
You are the winner. What number would you like to choose?
Number 5, please.
Number 5. So Michelle, you can have anything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. Zig Ziglar. You can have anything you want in your life if you just help enough other people to get what they want.
Okay, so I recently did a happiness course, and what they teach you a lot is it's your mindset and giving back to people. How do I explain this? I think it's got to do with your mindset. So if you can be positive and you can give back to people, but you also don't take from other people, and think of helping people what they want. Sorry, I'm really messing this up.
You're doing very well.
Sure. I think okay, so what I took from this course is that if you can, I feel like I'm hitting such a blank right now.
Oh, that's okay. If you'd like to continue, you're welcome to do so, or you can choose another number if you'd like, maybe another topic.
Yeah, can we choose another number, please?
Well done.
Well
yeah.
done, well done,
Bravery.
Michelle. Keep going. Well done for doing it again.
I love it. Okay.
That's incredible.
So I'm going to give you a topic, if that's okay, and I think that you'll do brilliantly at the topic. And it says, I have learned, and this is one of my favorites, Maya Angelou, I've learned that people will forget what you said. They will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Okay, I guess that I can relate this back as well to my happiness course that I've done. One thing they taught us is something that you'll always remember is the negative things that people say to you. Your mind is so programmed to remember the negativity, and that sticks with you. You always forget the positive things. So if someone came to you and said, oh, you're looking so lovely, but your hair doesn't look great today, or something like that, the only thing you're going to take from that conversation is, oh, my hair doesn't look good. And I think another thing they always taught us is you need to stop thinking about what you think other people think of you. Because generally people don't really have the time to really think so much about you or notice all the little things about you or what you do or what you say. It's all in your mind and you overthink these things. But putting a smile on someone's face or giving back to someone, they will always remember that. So remembering, yeah. Yeah.
Can we get a big round of applause for Michelle? Woo! Woo! Excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing with us that you've just finished this happiness course, because it obviously means quite a bit to you. And I'm sure that you're going to leave here tonight and you're going to go, oh my gosh, I could have said that. I could have said that. So next time you're on stage again. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. I've got 2 more people in mind. Before I volunteer, is there anybody else that would like to volunteer? Okay. Oh, Vanya, amazing. And then after Vanya, we're going to go to Emily, and then we're going to have Paul. Thank you. Vanya, what number would you like to choose? We have number 1, number 2, number 5, 6, 7, 8.
Easy one. Yeah. Which numbers I forgot already.
Number 1, number 2, number 5, 6, 7, and 8.
2.
Number 2. Oh, sorry, I do apologize. Number 2 is taken. It's number 3 or 4 or 5 or 6.
And number 3.
You can, your rewards in life will be in direct proportion to the value of your service to others. This is by somebody by the name of Brian Tracy, and he said this in the 100 absolutely unbreakable laws of his business success. Your rewards in life will be in direct proportion to the value of your service to others. It's a great topic, and it speaks to servant leadership, and I think very, very close to being a dynamic leader as well. So your rewards in life will be in direct proportion to the value of your service to others.
Yeah, so I'm running my own graphic design business, and I think this is a big thing for me, because I always feel like I can do better. So, or I always feel like I'm not doing good enough actually for my clients. But now it's actually a bit strange, because lately I've often that I want a certain thing to achieve, or I need a certain thing in my life, and then I work very hard for it, and it presents itself, which is and I don't even ask for it, which is very funny. Like my fiance Armand and I, we really wanted a dog for a long time, but we were like thinking, now we can't really afford it yet, but we really want it, but we're living in an apartment, so and we were not sure if we should do it. And then a few months ago, actually, one of my friends, she was moving overseas to New Zealand, and she asked us to watch over a French bulldog, which was perfect, because now it's not really our dog, but it is actually our dog now. But she's so cute, and it was really something we wanted, because it's a new energy in our life, and she's so cute. So I think that's one of the things that I can have as an example here. So yeah, I think it's really true, that quote. I think it's so thank you, Janine.
Well done, Vanya. Thank you so much. And I've just been notified that we only have time for one more impromptu speech. So between John and Emily, who's going to call it? Emily, are you keen?
Okay.
Okay, so Emily, I've got number 7, 8, or number 9. Which one would you like to choose?
9, please.
Wonderful. So number 9 says, and this is by Michelle Obama, when you've worked hard and done well and walked through that doorway of opportunity, you do not slam it shut behind you. You reach back and you give other people the same chances that helped you succeed. When you've worked hard and done well and walked through that door of opportunity, you do not slam it shut behind you. You reach back and you give other people the same chances that helped you succeed.
Okay, can I start?
Thank you.
Cool. So, I haven't really achieved anything major in my life at the moment, so I'm not going to talk about my own life. But and there's a really beautiful story about the hometown where I live. I'm from this small town called Akopo, and the guy that's heading up the Commission of Inquiry in South Africa for like all the corruption, he's one of the main judges. He's quite famous, but I can't remember his name. Anyway, he's from my small town in Akopo, and when he was he wanted to go to varsity, but he couldn't afford it. And he approached a business owner in our town, and he said, I really want to go to varsity, but I can't afford it. Especially I don't want to leave my mother here because she won't be able to eat if I leave. So he said he'd give her vouchers every week to go and get food and help with his tuition. So he basically helped him through varsity. And then anyway, he said, okay, cool. And he said, so he went up to varsity, and then he came back later, and he was such a successful lawyer. I mean, such a successful judge. And he came back and he said, I've come to repay you all the money that you lent me and help me get through varsity. And then he said, please don't repay me, rather pay it forward. And I just think that's really beautiful. So yeah, okay.
Thank you so much, Emily. That was a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing it with us. And thank you to everybody who did an impromptu speech this evening. It was my honor to put those topics together for you. Madam Toastmaster.
Wow, thank you. Oh, look at the French bulldog. Oh, Momo has been spotlighted. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I love it. Oh, Shireen, thank you for such fabulous table topics. You definitely got us all thinking, and congratulations to every single person who said yes, who stood up, who shared from the heart. It's wonderful to see how this section of our meetings helps us grow as speakers and as leaders and in our own confidence, because this is the place that we get to practice. So beautifully done. Wow. Please may I ask our terrific, tenacious timekeeper, Michaela, to tell us how we did on time.
I feel like I should have changed my name to something with a T there.
But yeah, I know.
John, I can't even think of anything with a T now. But John, you got 1 minute and 30 seconds. Leo, 1 minute and 14 seconds. Michelle, you put a smile on my face. You got 1 minute and 26 seconds. Well done for putting yourself out there. Vanya, 1 minute and 44 seconds. And Emily, same to you. I'm super proud that you did that. 1 minute and 31 seconds.
Wow, beautifully done. And a big round of applause to Michaela, who skated in here after a busy day of work and has managed to do outstanding timekeeping. Thank you, Michaela. Beautifully done. So keeping with the alliteration, I will now ask for our astounding, amazing, adventurous R counter, Claire, to tell us how we did on our R's and M's. Are you ready?
So I only counted, so there was 2 speeches, is that right? Or was I meant to like do everyone?
Everyone, all fair game.
I wasn't sure if I was meant to count those tabletop things. Sorry. Okay,
Everyone's very grateful right now, so tell us what you did count.
Okay, Gabriella, you didn't actually have that many. It's really impressive. You did 1 A, but it was really quick. I'm not sure if that was your accent or not, but it was like a point of an A. You had 1 and 1 so, and that was it. And then I think I've like also counted the wrong person. I'm doing fabulous right now. I blame that being in and out of hospital like the last 2 weeks. I don't know, like my ass from my elbow right now. Cherie, I counted Cherie. Oh God. Next probably be like, she is not getting that role again. Get her off that course. So Cherie did 3 A's, 1 and one kind of big pause, like when you said like well, and then you moved on, but that was it. And that's all I've counted. I'm sorry. I went, oh, hello?
You back? Or was I gone? I never know what's actually gone wrong. Is Claire done? Because I think I lost connection. Okay, Claire, well done. And what's beautiful is this is exactly why Nick's going to ask you to come back and do the counter role. Because you get to do it again. and so just so you know, for next time, anyone who speaks is fair game for counting. And Kevin, one of our members, he and I have been members of Toastmasters together for the last 8 years. And he once won the annual award at our club for 67 ums in one speech. So we all have got a lot of work ahead of us if we want to beat that record. And Claire, we've all got a lot of work to beat your very interesting choice of who to count tonight. So it was beautifully done. I love it. Everyone else is feeling so relieved. So you've done us a favor. Oh, thank you. Well, I think what a beautiful way to end the meeting, because this is what it's about. It's this dynamic interplay of rolling with the punches, figuring stuff out, encouraging each other, making sure we get to the end, even if some things have gone a little bit off course, we figure it out together. And I think in these changing times, that's what every single one of us needs to cultivate. As Michelle was saying, when you do this happiness course, our brains are Velcro for negativity and Teflon for positivity. We need to build our ability to stay positive, to stay, forceful, passionate, energetic, and dynamic. We need that. And I can't think of a better place to practice than here at Toasted. So I'd love to hear from our guests how you found the evening. And I think I'm going to start with our two fellas ladies, Emily and Michelle, who I know you're going to be joining us from June, but just to check in, how are you feeling? And Emily, maybe with you, your first meeting, how did you enjoy it? And are you still keen to join us?
I really enjoyed it. I love listening to the speeches, especially the first two. Yeah, I thought they were, well, obviously I found the second speech a bit more relatable to like me. So I thought it was really beautiful and I really enjoyed listening to it. And yeah, I think I can have a lot to learn from everyone here. So that's good. Yeah.
Yay. So looking forward to having you join the journey. Michelle, how are you feeling? Second visiting and soon to be an official member.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this meeting. I think the last meeting, I felt like everyone was so professional and on it, and now I can feel a bit more relaxed and can make mistakes. Yeah, so I don't enjoy being put on the spot, but I think it's going to be a good learning lesson for me. Yeah, I think it's going to be good for me.
Oh, wonderful. Well done for saying yes. That's where the growth starts. So beautiful. Justine, all the way from next door. How have you found your first Toastmasters meeting?
Oh, wow. I feel so grateful and overwhelmed. So thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure listening to the stories. They were remarkable. And I love seeing the kindness and the encouragement that everyone shows each other, which is just so beautiful to see. Yeah, it makes me feel very excited and just like warm and fuzzy inside. So thank you.
Yay. Well, thank you for joining us. It was so divine to have you.
Thanks for having me.
And Justine's the reason I was tipsy at our last meeting.
Yeah, it was me.
I normally have water in my wine glass. They all knew something was up. Jessica, how have you found your first Toastmasters meeting?
I absolutely love this. Let me just move that down. I have to say the emotion, the true-hearted, speaking really from the soul. Listening to each one of them, I shared a couple of tears with listening to the second one. I can really, there's so much heart and emotion from each one, and I feel so touched, being part of joining this group tonight. So thank you so much for including me. I really it made a profound effect on me. Also, the feedback that everyone gave, especially with the work that I do, understanding the impact of how you can improve on a day-to-day basis, of delivering a very pertinent message, with sort of speeding things up, taking other things down. So thank you so much for sharing. I look forward to joining.
Yay, goody. Well, I do know where you live, so I'll come and find you. And I mean, Justine's really worried now because I'm like horribly close. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. Lechlo, I'm not sure if I'm saying your beautiful long name correct. I don't know if you want to share with us how you found it and how I say your name, so I get it right.
It's Lechlo Honolo.
Lechlo Honolo. Wow, beautiful. How have you found the meeting, Lechlo?
The meeting was great. I've learned a lot of things from the speakers and the relationship between the panels. And I want to say thank you for having me too. It has been a good journey, and yeah, I've learned a lot from a personal level. And I think I'm having a great time so far. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, we hope to welcome you back again. Fabulous. Well, thank you to everyone, to all our role players, to our speakers. These meetings are a lot of hard work. Nick, as always, putting together this fantastic agenda. Michelle doing all the PR, making sure people know to come and join us. Gabrielle does a lot in the background now that she's got the official banner behind her and not her beautiful artwork. She really is someone who keeps it all together. And Flor is in our thoughts. She's not been very well the last few weeks and also continues to work. Like, I can't believe it, in the background when she's been dealing with a lot of stress on the work front and health front. So please send her lots of love. But just, yeah, from my side, I love what happens in these meetings. Just hearing the feedback from the visitors always reminds me why we do what we do, because this is such a safe space for us to share authentically and honestly, to grow and learn from each other and in our own personal pathways that we choose, because they stretch us, and that's where the magic happens. So a huge thank you, and we'd love to have you back. I was just looking, our next meeting is on the 7th of June. So we've got, I think it's 3 weeks time. I might be wrong. I think this is a 5-week month. So it's only on the 7th of June, but we'd love to welcome you back. A little bit of club business in case people start wondering why they're hearing from me. We've been given a challenge to try and get 5 new members before the end of June. So if you hear from us, you'll know why. But I'm sure you've seen why we're passionate about people joining this organization. I joined 10 years ago, and it changed my life. I was already speaking, and so I could easily have said, oh, well, I don't need Toastmasters. It has taught me so much more than I could ever have imagined. It taught me how to inject humor into my speaking, how to draw on wider influences than I would naturally have chosen. And it pushed me into leadership, which is where the real growth happened. And speaking to Shireen's table topics, it's through the service that we get to give in Toastmasters that we really do grow. And this last year, with this amazing committee who chose to serve a club that they believed could go somewhere, means we sit with 20 amazing members and growing, and we are all becoming more, and we are expanding as dynamic leaders. So I just want to thank every single one of you from across South Africa, from across Europe, from across North America. Who knows, maybe we'll get someone from Southeast Asia soon as a member, and we can become a truly, international little club all the way from the heart of Cape Town. So thank you. Please feel free to stay around and chat if you want to, but otherwise have a lovely evening, and we will see you on the 7th of June. Mwah.